you look at these 2-day cabs, start from the back. You put in the back, you put the wheels next to each other. The tires here are next to each other. The drive. So almost in the same line. If you look from the side, you note that frame goes in the back almost between the mud flap and the tire about 10 inches. Look at the other tractor, they cut the frame. They cut it with a saw. So this portion here in the front is cut right here. It doesn't go beyond that beam. That portion is gone in that tractor. Why? Because this tractor is hooked to a chassis. When you hook to a chassis, you don't need that 10 inches here collide with the chassis and will bend, have an accident. If you look at this truck, it has an accident. It is bent. So you don't need that part. That section should have been cut. This is the first difference between these two tractors. That one is a long nose and that one is a short nose. But if you look at the tires, this is the same length. The only difference here is 10 inches. You come here at this tire at the same length, so the frame is so far is the same. You come here, the mud flap is the same. You come here, the fuel tank here is smaller. Look at the fuel tank there is bigger. Not only it's bigger, if you look here, the depth is behind the tank and is exposed. On the other side, it is in the front. So this tractor is heavier than this one by the fuel tank, and we are going to follow the differences. The cabin started from here, almost the same line. If you look here, we are going to look from the side also. But when you come here, you discover this one has a long nose. Look at the tires. The difference between the two is 1 foot long. Right here. When you go to the front, you discover this is a long nose. This is a short nose. Why did you do that? I have no idea. I have no idea. If you look from here, the two tires, this is longer, coming to the front 1 foot longer. Is it 1 foot? Say half a foot longer. The center of this tire is right here. The center of this tire is right here. So it is 1 foot between the crack and the center of the tire. So this truck cannot be used when you have a very heavy load. It limits your ability to go through scales. Because it cannot be used, it is filled with dirt and dust, and they asked me to drive it today because it's sitting here for a long time. Nobody can drive it because it is too heavy to drive when you deal with intermodal. Let us look at this side here, how short this hose is. We go to the other side and notice the difference. I don't notice any difference between the hose. The only thing I notice, let us do it again. The component here between here and here. If there is any difference between this truck and the other one, of course here the engine is too big. It's coming to the front. Look at how far the engine is. The engine is right here. So all this is the engine. Look at the other side. The engine is pushed back to the frame. You can tell right here where that cooling system gets to the engine is very close to the front of this tire. And how far is the inlet, the air inlet from here is the front? Because I keep going back and forth. Another thing, here is the suspension. The axle is under the front of the cabin, right under the cabin. Here the axle is 1 foot in the front. So there is a difference between the two. Here is the inlet. The coolant inlet is almost 1 foot in the front. So they pulled that engine to the front. Is this the same size engine? I don't know so far. All I can tell you, this is a filthy truck, a brand new truck that nobody wants us to drive because it's too heavy. And also, this is a stick shift, which I will drive today. This is a stick shift. And where is the diff? The diff is here. This is a good idea because the diff doesn't like cold weather. But look at how big the tank is, the fuel tank from here to here. That's a huge fuel tank. You cannot use a huge fuel tank in a city, intermodal city, no. So this one is for intermodal long distance. Day cab long distance, when you don't have to worry about a heavy load. This one has a small fuel tank and the diff is exposed to the back. And how far the engine comes, here is where the coupling between the engine, because I'm ignorant, this is the transmission. And that is the engine in the front. This is the coupling here, this is the short one. Here, the engine, the coupling is almost 1 foot to the front because it is longer. So the drive shaft here have to be longer. The drive shaft here have to be longer than here. Here is the drive shaft is from here to here. That drive shaft can be maybe 4 feet, almost 4 feet. Here, the drive shaft is from here to here. This is almost 5 or 5.5 feet. Longer drive shaft because the beam is different. The frame is, the chassis is different.